shit, it's on. Okay.
It is on. How are you, Toby?
I'm good. It's good to be out of 2017
It's very great to be out of 2017.
for a number of reasons. I know a lot of people said, hey, 2006 can't get any worse. It did, folks.
It's like, hold my drink. Yeah, that was bad.
That was bad.
Really not.
So last year we started this podcast. We watched Damien Chazelle's La La Land.
Yes, we did.
And then right after that, we did a podcast of all the films we saw together, because we saw a lot of films together over the course of 2016. Unfortunately, we did not get a chance to watch a movie again this time. It was supposed to be Shape of Water, but...
Which bums me out that I'm going into this podcast having not seen Shape of Water.
I know. Yeah.
That really makes me sad. That was the one, Creature from the Black Lagoon smut fan film that I wanted to see going into this year.
I forget who said it, but someone was like... Someone's like, so, like, the crossover is, the pitch is, it's Amelie has sex with the Creature of the Black Lagoon. And it's like, when you're watching it, it's like, yeah, this is very what that movie is.
So, okay. That's the next one, man. Yeah. We have to do because we gotta do a follow-up.
Absolutely. No, we can do that for sure.
Not wait a year.
Yeah, no, God, no. Yeah, but
we saw quite a few films this year.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Should we get to it?
I mean, you've got the cue card.
I do. So I keep a I forget who I got this from. I think it was from Marguerite Bennett.
Oh, okay.
The comic book writer.
Yeah.
No, from her and Steven Soderbergh. They would keep like a diary of everything. Well, Steven Soderbergh actually, he would keep a diary of everything he did over the course of the year.
Okay.
So that's including like books, movies, TV shows. Over the course of 2016, he would have stuff like my raw footage of Logan Lucky, more raw footage of Logan Lucky. Like, it's like the movie he's editing and making, he would have it in his diary. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I started doing that for all the movies I watch, because I watch a lot of movies.
Quite a few, Toby.
I have no life, and that's what I want to do. So I started doing that, and I did that last year. And this year I did that somewhat, even though I really lost the ball towards the end of the year.
The year did. The world did. It was kind of like senioritis, where it's like, man, can't wait for this to be over.
Yeah, and then... Now we're here. We're still alive.
We're still alive.
Barely.
Let's go on to the movies.
Okay.
Let's talk about movies. Toby, let's talk about movies.
All right. I feel like I want to introduce Aubree just because I want to.
My girlfriend from Indiana, Aubree, is here. If Aubree wants to say anything into the camera.
Just silence, because I'm imaginary. Your girlfriend from Indiana. Sure. Everyone knows Indiana isn't a real place. It's just a place for, like, sitcoms and, like, murder mysteries.
You're not wrong.
So, that was my imaginary girlfriend. Don't ask me about her. She's here and she's real. Anyways.
She also doesn't watch movies, so I'll only have 2 inputs the whole year, which was Wonder Woman and Valerian.
Which we will get to.
Oh, we're going to get to Valerian, all right.
Okay. We have to get past Dane DeHaan's first attempt.
No, I was going to say, should we just do like a whole block of Dane DeHaan?
We do need to have like a layout where it's like, okay, so here's the other movies. Here's just Dane DeHaan.
Yeah, we gotta set Dane DeHaan up, and then I think we should tackle those two together.
I think we probably should.
Because I mean,
and so I don't think we necessarily need to spend so much time.
No, I was gonna say, because I still have the 10-minute video I recorded of you trying to explain the movie as soon as we watched it,
and I'm pretty sure all that 10 minutes. I think I only got just barely past the first act.
I think by minute 7 I told you, like, okay, we gotta stop. You guys are going to the other stuff.
I couldn't.
Okay. So
yeah,
the first movie I have on here was actually a good way to start off the year, which was the surprise Best Picture winner on a number of levels.
Yes.
Barry Jenkins' Moonlight.
Moonlight.
Yes. Which won 3 Academy Awards. It won Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor for Mahershala Ali, and Best Original Screenplay. Adapted screenplay. Sorry, because the Academy has the dumb rules where if it exists in any form whatsoever, even if it's a movie, even if it's from a play you didn't produce, it's still adapted screenplay. So,
right.
Yeah, Moonlight.
Yeah,
so Moonlight was my top film of 2016.
It was in my top 5.
Yeah, it's one of the best reviewed films in the past 5-10 years,
and there's very good reason.
Very good reason why. Beloved movie. That kind of talking around a movie in a second. That kind of movie does not win Best Picture. And it's still shocking that it did.
Because normally it's like you've got the... One thing that irked me about the Oscars, and still kind of does, is the fact that you go into it basically knowing, like, okay, so this is this year's Titanic. You know, and it's like, this is the one that's going to sweep, this is the one that's going to win. And then the Academy kind of goes like, yeah, we'll toss in your Mad Maxes, we'll toss in your, Black Swans and that sort of thing.
Right.
So it was like, okay, just waiting for, La La Land night, basically.
Right.
And then that upset, crazy.
Very crazy, especially to watch live. No, but
and very, pleasant, a pleasant surprise.
Very pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
That's just one of those ones, I mean, I'm picturing, I'm just thinking of Ryan Gosling laughing through the whole thing.
Yeah,
I'm just
which I did appreciate.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Jordan Horowitz, one of the producers of La La Land, holding up the card and saying, no, guys, seriously, you won, come up here.
Come back here, guys.
Come up here. And it's I thought he was doing a weird bit, and it's just oh my God.
Are we all good? Are we... Twitter freaking out.
Yeah. Oh shit, we're doing this live.
Yeah.
No, but the movie itself is just fantastic across the board. Just even the way it starts, just kind of following Mahershala Ali's character, talking to one of his drug dealers, and the whole way the camera kind of rotates around.
Such a great way to start.
Yeah, just immerses you right in.
Just right in terms of presentation,
and
everything about that was just so good.
Yeah, especially when it starts off with the hood ornament. In his car on the dashboard, and it kind of zooms out. You kind of see him, and then it's a oneer, so it doesn't cut. The entire shot just kind of rotates around. It's that kind of just really, you're in this world.
But what I loved about that opening shot in particular, how it just keeps going like that, is that it's so effortless.
Oh yeah.
That sometimes you're by the time the shot cut, you didn't even realize oh shit, that was just one whole shot.
And I think, and we're going to talk a little bit about TV throughout this list as well.
Good, I can contribute.
Okay, good. Yes.
My imaginary girlfriend is still here.
Yes, she didn't leave. She's imaginary. No. One of the things that peak TV or current prestige TV does a lot are the one-er shots, and ones that really draw attention to themselves. The ones that are in quotation marks and arrows pointing at it with highlighters, this is a one-er shot. Moonlight, that was very much just really simply done. Very
just this is how this shot is.
This is how the shot is. One of my favorite, Moonlight Across the Boards is great, but one of my favorite shots is on the scene where Juan is teaching Little how to swim.
Oh, the baptism scene.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, just teaching him how to swim, and it's I forget what the line was, but it's you have the whole world at your feet. You're looking at the whole world right now, and it's just I remember Jake has talked about directing that shot, and it's just there was a storm coming in right away, so we had to get it quick, but at the same time, it's we're in such a mood right now, at a certain point, the water's directing the scene, and it's it's really well done. The scene, that's the first act. The scene between Kevin and Black in the middle when they're on the beach, and they and then they talk, they start kissing, get a hand job, and then, but that's a very sensual, very touching scene.
Yeah.
And I remember when Kevin, I forget the actor's name, unfortunately, but I remember when the actor, the kid who played Kevin, was talking to Barry Jenkins. He was talking they were talking about the scene, and Barry Jenkins was telling the actor who played Kevin's Black has never been kissed before. So this is going to be his first kiss, and the actor said, "Okay, I get it. I know how to play this now." And it's just kind of seeing how tender he is with him.
Yeah,
it's a really poetic. It's a very poetic and touching scene.
It was, and that's what I appreciated too about the first and second acts, I guess, were how the camera presented it as this very in the literal sense of the word, gritty realism.
Yeah.
But there was always like the scene on the beach and the scene in the water.
Yeah.
There is this tenderness to all of it, and this calm, not necessarily comforting, but relaxing, almost way of visual storytelling.
I remember, I think it was Miriam Bale, critic that I follow on Twitter. She said something like, "This is the first Best Picture that's an American foreign film," and what she meant by that was this is an American film that's very influenced by foreign cinema. There's a lot of damn it, Justin's gonna kill me. The director who did
permission,
the director who did In the Mood for Love.
Okay.
I want to remember his name later on. But it's
Justin is screaming at his phone right now.
He probably is. But it's like, it's midnight, man. I'm tired. But it feels very much like those kind of Asian cinema films, very much like a European, like, new wave kind of film. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like you said, it kind of takes its time, despite, like, you have 3 different acts. He follows this boy's life, and it's very gritty. Mm-hmm. There's a lot going on. I mean, even talking about Naomi Harris, the mother. Yeah. Even just talking about her, she's the only. I forgot there was another film I forgot here. Okay, I remember. Was
Naomi Harris in it?
No.
Oh, okay.
That'd be great though. But no, it's kind of similar to this one. But it's like Naomi Harris is the only actor, and consistent. And she did everything in 3 days because because she was doing press for Spectre. At the same time,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm sure she was like, "Oh, I got a 3-day break to do something good. Okay,
something worth my time.
Right.
All right, sure."
No, but it's like to do that character in that amount of time is like. I remember when I heard that, I was like, "That's mind-boggling.
That's insane."
Yeah. So.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I mean, there's that, and then what I love most about the film. I mean, the film across the board is great. The music, the cinematography, the editing. Directing, the writing, the acting, like what I was
going to say, all 3 performances of the same character.
Yeah.
Just like the subtleties of each, like seeing the influences that each one had on each one.
And that's what I was going to mention, where it's just like you can see each actor imbue this character. And I love how, like you said, the first and second acts are really quite close together. And then after the second act, when he takes a chair, busts over the one kid's head, who kept harassing him and teasing him and everything like that, he finally got what was coming to him, and then he gets thrown to the police car, and then it cuts to the black, and then boom, he's driving Juan's car, and he's driving. He has a hood ornament that Juan had, and you see this bulking, big drug dealer guy,
which I liked because I didn't know, like I thought I knew where the character and where the film was going, and then that third act hits, and it's just like, all right, I'm in. Yeah. What do you got to tell me?
And what I love about that as well is because that makes sense for the character. After everything he's gone through, with his mother, Juan being sent to jail, finding out he's gay and what that means in that society and that kind of culture, it's just like, fuck, I'm just gonna bulk myself up so the world can't hurt me anymore. Yeah, and it's just like. Yeah, that makes sense. But when you see the scene with him in the diner with Andre Holland, who plays the adult Kevin now, another great performance in that movie as well. Is like you can kind of see the semblances of Little coming out. Like you kind of see, especially when they're together, and Kevin, when they go back to Kevin's place and he asks him, "Who is you?" And it's just like you kind of see his face drop, and then it cuts to the piano. They're late there. Kevin is playing the piano, and Little has his head leaned on his shoulder, and then it cuts to the last shot where we just see. Like that dark hued beach, and we have the little boy. Yeah, and we kind of push it on him. He turns around. And that's the end of the movie. I remember I was watching. It's like, please end here. Yeah, and it did. I was just like, yes.
Because no, it's a great. We're going to be talking about more great last shots.
Oh yeah,
but you always hope for like. Okay, you're so close, so close, and then they just keep going like an extra 5 minutes, and you're like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, Moonlight's fantastic.
Yes. I mean, we've had a year to talk about, like, look, guys, Moonlight's fantastic.
Right, yeah, go watch Moonlight.
Go watch Moonlight.
So I kind of had this switched out. So again, like we said, we're gonna tackle Dane DeHaan.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna postpone Dane DeHaan.
Yeah. So the next one we have is actually by another African American director, Jordan Peele's Get Out.
Get Out. Wow, seriously? We saw Get Out? Okay.
Yeah, because that came out. I think what, February? I think
that was February.
Yeah, and I think we saw it together. I saw it first in February, then I saw it with you in March. So that's when that came out. So. No, Get Out's amazing. Get Out might be, as of right now, because Get Out was premiered at Sundance in January. We're in January now, and it's kind of lasted that entire year.
I was going to say, it's because I know so many great movies that have come out in the beginning of the year, even going as far as like April or May. Yeah. And by the time we get to January of next year, it's like, oh yeah, that movie, whatever. But this has been on the lips of everyone. Yeah. Consistently, nonstop. And again, for good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. just it's a good horror.
Very good, and it's something we talked about before. I mean, on podcasts, on mic, and off, where it's just like the best horror talks about something. The best horror is an allegory or uses messaging to describe something else.
Yeah.
Either about the society at large or a topic at large or what have you. And this is very much a topic about white liberals who think they who think they're allies, but they may not be.
Yeah.
Talk about the experience of African Americans in America. They talk about interracial dating and how I mean dating is good in general, but how dangerous that can be.
Right.
And I love how for some reason when the Golden Globes did their nominations and the Globes really kind of they became the Globes again after they had a good 2 years.
The Globes remained being the Globes.
Yeah, no, they had a good 2 years there for a second, and then it's like this year it's like, oh yeah, you're the Globes. And then they before they'd had their nominations, they categorized Get Out in the comedy section, and everyone was kind of freaking out about that. But it's just like, what else would it be? I don't know what else to use for some reason.
Well, because my thing was like it's undeniably a horror film, but it's also very much a satirical film.
Right.
Not saying that satire has to be a comedy, like Watchmen is a satire and that's not a comedy.
No.
But there are elements of humor in there, and even like when you get down to like what the twist is, in the hands of a director who isn't as skilled as Jordan Peele is, it could have come across as ridiculous.
Yes.
And even in the movie it came across as a little ridiculous, but the way that it was executed and the intent behind it was very much like, okay, the world that I have been in throughout this whole movie, this seems a little silly, but because of everything that came before it, it makes so much sense.
Right.
So I don't see why anyone like it. It's an important movie, but
very much so.
It's not a drama.
No, it's not, and
that's like, okay. I think that's what's weird is like people are like, if it's not a drama, it's not a respectable film.
No, and that's something you and I talk about all the time, where it's like comedy, as always, because of award shows and because of the history of award shows, comedy always gets the short end of the stick. Always gets the shaft, unfortunately. Where it's like if it's not a drama, then it's like, then what is it respected? Then
it's just kind of this disposable Walmart bin stuff.
Right, which isn't fair by any means. Because I mean, from the list we have here, I mean, we have a lot of dramas. We have some comedies in here too that we liked. Yeah. And
we've got some that are like dark comedies that are like a fun mix of both. So.
Exactly, and we've seen for the past as we've seen from like the golden age of TV, from like 2004 and on, the best material blends both of those. Yeah. Like like there were some weeks where Mad Men was like the funniest show on TV. Breaking Bad's hilarious at times. Yeah. Better Call Saul
which started off almost as like a comedy and is now Better Call Saul.
Right, exactly. So it's like you can blend the two of them. But Jordan Peele's tweet was the reaction of the Golden Globes. He's like, Get Out is a documentary. And I remember when I told you after we saw the movie, it's like, yeah, a lot of that happened to me.
Yeah. Well, the theater experience...
Oh, theater experience is amazing.
Watching Get Out with you and seeing a very... a theater filled with white people and black people. Yeah. And seeing their reactions to, like, different parts of the movie. Like, there were some parts where white people were, like, laughing and black people weren't as much. Yeah. There were moments where and vice versa. Yeah. A lot of uncomfortable chuckles, a lot of cringing, a lot of hiding behind their knees. Yeah. What I loved about it, though, was the fact that he tackled a type of racism that we don't want to think about, and a lot of people probably don't think exists. Yeah. Which is, but we love black people so much that we want to be black people. Yes. Which is what the movie is. Yes. And
it fetishizes them.
Yeah. And it was such a fascinating viewpoint, I guess. And there's a lot of things that like I became aware, like when the opening scene where he's walking through like a ritzy middle class suburb, and it's played out like a horror film, like he's walking through a woods in a Friday the 13th movie. There were so many elements of it that were just so well done and so.
I remember the first time I saw this, when I saw the movie, I was like, oh shit, yeah. That's happened to me. Yeah.
But, and it's
just kind of walking around like, oh man, they
don't want me here.
No, they don't want me here. Like, someone's gonna roll up on me and take me any second. Like, yeah.
Yeah. No, but it was a very, everything. I appreciated how purposeful everything was in the movie.
Yes, very much so. And again, like kind of going like we've been in a golden age of horror for the past couple of years.
It's been a great year, like couple of years for horror.
Yeah, I mean this year especially, like we have like 8 made box office gold. It comes at night. We're going to talk about later on.
Mother, we're going to talk about later on.
Mother's another one.
Is that on your cue card?
No, it's not.
Toby.
Okay, so I've got 2 films. Okay. Wow, Mother.
We have to talk about Mother.
We got to talk about Mother.
Arguably the most controversial film of 2017.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, that and The Last Jedi. Funny enough. That's a two-hander. No,
yeah, but that's a double feature.
Yeah, but so like again, like horror. Like I remember watching The Babadook. The Babadook is basically about how to compartmentalize and deal with depression. And a tragic thing happening in your life. Get Out is very much about racism, and it's very pointed. And I think the more pointed or obvious a horror film is, the better it can be.
Right.
And like, there's a lot of things where like when Chris, then played by Dana Kaluuya, when he is strapped to the chair, and at the end of towards the end of the film, he has to pick cotton out to get out,
which took me about 3 viewings to get it, and. I gotta tell you, Toby, I felt so dumb when I went online and I saw people asking Jordan Peele if that was intentional. And he's like, yeah. I'm like...
It's like, how could you not think it's intentional? Yeah. It's like, it's a black man picking cotton to get it free. It's like, it's stuff like that. Or even all the references to deers, because black people were known as bucks back when they were under slavery. So it's like, there's that. There's Allison Williams eating...
the Fruit Loops individually, and then drinking the milk,
and then eating the colored Fruit Loops individually from the white milk. It's like there's a lot of things here that are just very like on the nose, which works. I think works a lot,
and it makes for really good like rewatchability.
Yes,
but also what I appreciated about it was after the fact, everyone was talking and everyone was asking questions.
Yes,
we were not an exception. And it's cool that now we've gotten to award season, and not only is the lead actor, Jordan Peele, the screenplay, the direction, it's all possibly up in the air.
It's all possibly up in the air. I feel... I remember I watched it the first time. I think I watched it with you again. Like, I think Allison Williams should be nominated for something. Like, she's amazing in this movie.
She's really damn good.
She's really good in this movie. Like, someone wrote on Twitter, like, this is the role she was born to play. And I'm just like, yeah, kind of.
I can see it.
Yeah, kind of. Kathleen Keener's great in as the mom. Bradley Whitford.
She was terrifying.
Very terrifying.
She was very scary.
Very terrifying. Bradley Whitford as the dad is great. Betty Grable as the black female waitress.
Oh, she was
not waitress. The maid.
Yeah, the grandmother.
The grandmother, basically. Yeah.
So that was the most haunting performance in the whole movie.
Exactly.
Like that
just
was
no.
With like tears streaming. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I gotta see. I'm forgetting names. The best friend.
Oh yeah. The TSA agent.
The TSA agent.
Yeah.
Who and it's like, when we talk about theater experience, I remember when we saw Creed together last year. Oh no, 2 years ago, 2005, 2015. That was a great theater experience.
Yeah.
And then this was, on top of that, was another great theater experience, because I remember the first time I saw people, like, as soon as the cop car pulls up, as soon as you see those lights. As soon as those lights come up, because, again, being a black man in America, it's a very compromising position where you're seen choking a white woman. So it's just like, the car pulls up, and it was like, oh, fuck, no! Like, very audibly. And then it's like the lights, and then you see the cut.
You see it open up, and you see, airport. Or something like that.
And then everyone is like...
It was, like, deafening.
Yeah, everyone cheers the hell out of it. Yeah. Everyone's like, thank God!
there's so many things we could say about this movie and what it says, what it means.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, even.
Yeah. Kind of speaking of that, like, 2 things that come to mind was, like, Jordan Peele said he had an alternate ending for the movie, where it was supposed to be the cops that come up at the end. And then... he kept it for a long time, and then after a while, it's like he changed it to what it is now. And he said, like, I think that works better. And it's like, I agree. Like, I feel like the audience needed that kind of ending to kind of go out on.
I think so, especially, like, and talking about this movie and Wonder Woman eventually.
Yes.
And a couple other films. Mm-hmm. But, like, these movies were all going to be released in 2017 regardless.
Yeah.
It's weird accident, societally, that they came out the year in which our current political climate is happening.
Right.
And I think...
A movie has no say over the time it comes out in.
Right. But because of the time it came out in, I think that maybe we need this. That's the ending maybe we needed for like the escapism and the fact that like what it means for like, okay, his black friend comes to save him.
Yes.
I remember leaving a little upset, being like, man, it might have had a bigger impact if it was a bunch of cops.
Yeah, we talked about that then, yeah.
Thinking back on it now, I agree. I think this was a significantly better idea.
And then not only the political climate, but also everything under Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
The protests in the NFL over that as well. Mm-hmm. Even what's going on with like the sexual harassment scandals and everything like that, it's like, again, 2017 has been so charged. I think that was the ending that really kind of spoke to what's going on right now. And the other thing I wanted to mention was, I think I told you this before, but like the trailer, the producer Jason Blum wanted to put the keys in the trailer.
Oh, which would have.
And it's one of the, and Jordan Peele, like he to his credit, he didn't fight them, but he disagreed. It's like, I don't think you should put that in the trailer. And they eventually came around to decide, like, yeah, you're right, we shouldn't put that in the trailer. Because, like, if you want to talk about the tone, the tone is tight throughout the entire movie. But you want to talk about tone, the movie's a comedy up until she pulls out the keys. And then it's like, okay, now you're definitely in a horror film. Now you're definitely in a horror dramatic film.
And the tension that builds because you're so sure.
Yeah.
Surely Allison Williams is on his side. Surely she doesn't. And then she pulls out the keys, and like your heart drops.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
And so,
kind of relating to that. And this is something, I don't know if we talked about this. I remember talking to my friend Justin about this because he didn't get it. But it's just like, I knew the entire time that Allison Williams was part of the scheme. Maybe because I'm a black man who has dated white women before.
I mean, okay, fair.
So it's just like, it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, she's got to be on it because why wouldn't she be? It's her family. Again, I've been in that situation before.
Right.
So I remember talking to Justin. He was like, "Oh, really?" It's like, I didn't think that. It's like, yeah, I was almost thinking, the bigger choice for me would have been if she wasn't with them.
Okay.
If she actually was like not involved in it whatsoever. But it's just like, if you have this family, they got a pretty white daughter. They're it's gonna happen.
But that's what makes this so interesting and so exciting for the future is that, like, I guess I'm used to my point of view. I'm used to my voice. And this is a different voice with a different perspective. Yeah. So that twist worked on me. Yeah. And it made me more, it had a bigger impact on me. Yeah. And because this movie was such a rousing success, it's like...
Very much so.
Let's get more of those unique voices in here. Yeah. To, not just for, if for nothing else, to make your movies more impactful on people who aren't familiar with that perspective.
Right. And, I remember when Get Out came out, doing the gangbusters at the box office, and there was a rumor that
destroyed
the box office. And there was rumors that Warner Brothers wanted Jordan Peele to direct Akira. Like some of the manga they've been trying to make for 20 years. And it's like, oh, come on, don't do that.
Don't fall into that trap,
Don't fall into that trap, man. And it's
You're
like,
so much better than that.
To his credit, he has it. And he said he has like 3 or 4 more social thrillers like this he wants to make.
Good. So he's also doing the reboot of Twilight Zone.
Yes, he is.
Which,
that sounds fun.
Yes, it does sound very fun.
Yeah, Get Out's great.
Get Out's great.
Get Out's amazing. I was going to say, we have a lot of films. So I mean...
Yeah, we got a few here.
Yeah, so it's like Mr. Robot Season 1. We'll talk about that real quick. Yes. You bought that on a whim, right?
I bought it on Black Friday, yeah.
Okay, you bought it on Black Friday. We started in 2016. We finished it earlier this year.
Yes.
In March. And that was, I remember catching that show live. That was one of those ones where it's like, okay, so USA is doing this interesting show with Rami Malek. Okay, I'll check it out. And it's like, that was a show I just instantly kind of loved. And Season 2 came out, I think, when you bought it, right? I think so.
Yeah, I think around
there. And then Season 3 just ended this year. And so we watched it together.
Yeah.
We watched the entire thing together, and for me, it was just kind of great rewatching that again, just kind of being immersed in that world again, and just kind of reveling in the performances and how meticulous it takes care of itself, like the framing, the cinematography, the music, the jarring music. Like, it's just a great... It's one of my favorite shows on right now.
The first season was super tight, and by the time I got to the end of it, I personally was like, I want to go into the second season because this is it wrapped up so perfectly.
Right.
And to this day, Toby, every time I go to my car at night, I have to check the trunk. and it's not funny.
Do you wanna explain?
What was her character's name? I love her with all of my heart and soul.
I do too. Well, the actress is Frankie Shaw.
Frankie Shaw.
She actually has a new show out right now on Showtime called Smilf.
Smilf, yeah.
Yeah, and Sylvia, was that her name? No.
The fact that this was one of my favorite characters, and I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
Audience is calling bullshit.
Right. No, but it's like, yeah, you caught on to her. You latched on to her very quickly.
The second she appeared on screen, she's like his drug dealing neighbor.
Yeah.
Who's like all about him.
Yeah.
And she's just like this super chill stoner, like, hey man, let's just fuck.
Yeah.
Is it cool? Here's your drugs. Can I hang out?
Right.
He's like, get out of my room. I'm socially awkward. And she's like, can we just fuck? He's like, all right, fine. And then she just kind of like hangs out. She's just like a lovely person for the whole time.
And it's like she has really nothing to do with the plot.
She has nothing to do with the plot. And she was so delightful.
Yeah,
and she was just like hanging out, and she's just like, you're a good man, and all this stuff, and then
the plot got to her.
and then she was involved with the plot, and everything was ruined forever.
Yeah, and then
I didn't sleep for 48 hours, Toby.
And then
I was that distraught.
And then, spoiler alert, she was killed.
No. What happened was the fuckers were like, "Hey, we've got your girlfriend, and all you got to do is
break a leader out of jail.
You got to break the leader of this gang out of prison, and when you're done, we'll get you back to her girlfriend." And so, because they started dating too.
Yes, they did.
Fuck. So they started dating, and it was fucking adorable.
Yeah.
And then these criminals come and say like, "Hey, so you're this like crazy hacker guy. Get my boy out of prison, and then we'll give you your girlfriend back."
Yes.
So the whole time, he's driving around the city in his car, doing all these little things and all these little computers, and he finally gets this guy out of prison, and he's like, so where's my girlfriend? And he's like, she's been with you the whole time. And then the way the camera, Toby...
The camera work is amazing.
Where it's just subtly kind of dipping in, like teasing you, like, is she in the trunk? Is she in the trunk?
Yeah.
And then just... fucking she's in the trunk. She's been dead the whole fucking time, Toby. It was awful. It was awful.
In their defense, and it's not really defense, they did give him the girlfriend back.
You're a monster. You're a soulless monster, Toby.
I'm a soulless monster with story, good storytelling.
No, that's the worst part. Is that was great television.
Yeah.
It just broke me.
Yes.
And I think that's why my 2017 was so bad. Because my...
So that was Mr. Rose Season 1. Do you remember Kong Skull Island?
I remember buying a ticket for it. Surely we saw it.
I'm sure you did.
Surely we saw this movie.
It's directed by Jordan Voight Roberts, who directed The Kings of Summer a few years ago.
Okay.
He's from Detroit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically set in the end of Vietnam War, and it is
John C. Reilly?
No, John C. Reilly's in it, yeah. But it's Corey Hawkins. It's Corey Hawkins, and it is oh God, why?
I
know you're pulling a me. Who you?
It's
It wasn't J.K. Simmons, was it?
No.
Oh, he would have made this movie better.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
No, you're not
Maybe
wrong.
I just saw a State Farm commercial before a Long Island commercial, and I just got confused.
King Kong attacks. Yeah, we cover everything.
Yeah, I was like, maybe
we don't
that's
think
where
it's different
including 100-foot apes.
Da, 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 da.
But no, it's Corey Hawkins, and it is.
I'm going to go down the cast list, and I'm going to see if any of the... It's because we got Brie Larson.
Yes.
Tom Hiddleston.
Yes.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
John Goodman.
It was Goodman. Thank you. It was John Goodman.
Oh, John Goodman.
Yeah. Okay. So it's Corey Hawkins. And John Goodman. They get permission from Richard Jenkins.
Yes.
Who to the locate an island that's not on the map still. So they go, but they have to try and get there from some means. So they have a Vietnam pilot, Tom Hiddleston. There's a camera reporter, Brie Larson, for reasons. And then there's Samuel Jackson, who's doesn't want the Vietnam War to end, so he goes with them.
Yeah.
And they encounter King Kong, and then King Kong destroys all the helicopters, and then Jackson has a vendetta against Kong for that reason.
Yes.
And this movie's dumb.
This movie is remarkably dumb.
And I think it's dumb in a good way.
I had a lot of fun with it.
No, it's a movie that's appropriately dumb. It's one of those... Yeah. Like, you ever seen like a bad movie and just be like, I wish you were badder.
Yeah, I wish you were just a little... Like you tried a little bit too hard and failed a bit more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, don't reach for the sun. Be what you are.
Be Kong Skull Island.
Yeah, embrace what you are. And I think Skull Island did that kind of perfectly. Like this,
Yeah.
like 30% of this movie is like Samuel Jackson mugging at the camera in the close up. It's like, I'm pissed at you, Kong. It's like,
Yeah. I'm pissed at you, Kong.
that's what it is. That's what it is. And it's
Synopsis.
like John C. Reilly is like a maroon soldier who's been there since the 40s from World War II, and it's like he's out of his gourd, and he's like,
And yeah, he is the most John C. Reilly in this movie.
pretty much,
Yeah.
like John C. Reilly on steroids.
He's like prime Adult Swim John C. Reilly.
Yeah,
in this movie.
basically, and it's like he's having a ball,
Oh, yeah.
and it's like I'm even thinking of the line where it's just like because this is supposed to set up down the line Kong versus Godzilla.
Yep.
For again reasons.
For reasons.
Why not?
Because Marvel.
God, we're
Because
Marvel. Yeah.
the Dark Universe.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Dark Universe. 2017 to 2017. The Dark Universe.
There's that line that says that John C. Reilly says, "Oh, Kong is he's still growing."
Yeah.
And it's just like,
he's still young. Yeah, he's still growing.
You just threw that in there so to justify the fact that he has to be big enough to fight Godzilla.
He has to be big enough to fight Godzilla.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing, Toby. This is going to be it's going to be a bad movie. I am stoked to see this version of King Kong fight. I still haven't seen that version of Godzilla.
Really?
No, I haven't seen it.
You know what? I know it's kind of decisive, especially among Godzilla fans. I think it was bad. I thought it was smarter. It tried to do the Spielberg thing where it's just like, we're going to hold off Godzilla as much as possible until the end. So you kind of see glimpses of him. And it's like, what would Godzilla look like in this world?
Okay.
So it kind of works on that aspect. Again, that's a movie really plot heavy in the beginning for reasons. Aaron Taylor Johnson's pretty horrible in it. Like, he has no character to play whatsoever.
Yeah, he didn't look like he did.
No, it's like you want to talk about generic action figure, like that's him. Elizabeth Olsen had nothing to do. Bryan Cranston's in it for like a few minutes and he's gone.
Yeah.
He had a weird wig on too. Like it's visually looks great. Like so that Godzilla wasn't bad. Like this wasn't like the fight scene in Kong Skull Island was pretty fun, I thought.
Yeah.
I like how he took like an old propeller from a ship that was there.
Yeah,
and he used
ship.
from a wrecked ship, and he used it like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
like he was like, "Get over here!" He literally did that.
It was actually fantastic.
Right.
I liked how I knew Godzilla, like, they were holding off showing him.
Yeah.
The first, like, the cold open of King Kong, of Skull Island, shows all of Kong.
Yes.
And that's great.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. Just
So do it.
straight to the point. Let's no foreplay. Let's get straight to it. There's a shot because when you have King Kong, you also have to have a pretty blonde white female criminal fall in love
Played
with.
perfectly by one Brie Larson.
Exactly, but there's a great shot of Brie Larson holding the flare gun, and she stands like so badass, like
like prime Captain Marvel, like she's so getting ready for it.
Exactly, she fires it at the eye of one of the monsters.
The
Kong's
skull
fighting.
things.
Yeah, and it's just like it's a great shot. That's the only thing I remember her doing in that movie.
The other thing I remember in that movie is there's this long, like almost like Zack Snyder 300 shot of Hiddleston in a gas mask with a sword.
Yeah.
Not a machete, like a legit sword.
Yeah.
Like
a
weirdly
katana.
fighting like giant cockroaches.
Yes.
And it was so bad.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but just be like, what is this doing in this movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's your choice.
Exactly.
You do you.
That's that kind of movie.
It's that kind of a movie.
Again, like I know a lot of people. I know I've seen that movie on a lot of like. Oh, I actually like this movie. People didn't like it. Again, I feel like it's almost like Pacific Rim, where it's just like
almost.
It's that kind of movie where it's just like it knows what it's doing on such a level where it's just like it looks bad. It kind of is bad and dumb.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it good.
Right.
That's what makes it enjoyable.
It's unapologetically saying, I have this King Kong action figure and a bunch of like random He-Man like animal rides.
Yes.
I'm gonna bash them together.
Yes.
And Brie Larson's there.
And who's gonna say no to Brie Larson?
I'm not.
I mean, she did do the Glass Castle this year, and no one saw that. So yeah.
That came out already?
Yeah, that came out what, August?
That's
kind of
sad.
what I was
That's
thinking.
the problem right there.
Yeah, that's.
I was like, I thought that was still in production. Apparently not.
No,
Apparently
I thought that was a
went.
2018 release too.
No, it came out already.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Welp.
Yeah, not accurate reviews for that one. So we went to the midnight showing of Kiki's Delivery Service.
We did.
Of Hayao Miyazaki's Kiki's Delivery Service, 1989. That was a fucking fun time.
I forgot how melancholy that movie can be.
It is. It
And
really is.
I
Because,
appreciated that.
yeah, because again, it's just on the surface, it's a movie about a girl who's a witch from a family of witches who has to go out into her world and go and find her own town to be a witch of. That's it. That's pretty much the movie.
Right.
But it's like, it's a coming of age story. It's
very slice of life.
Very slice of life. Very much like she has to learn her way in the world, and it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
And she has to navigate her way through it. And it's, like I said, it's very melancholy in a way that, Miyazaki's a master of.
Yes, he
is.
is.
And it's very layered, very textual, very sweet, very forlorn. It works on so many emotions, so many levels.
Yeah.
It's just a fun ride.
It really,
just enjoy it, just to kind of take her on with.
Right. And I like how, like, there is the overarching story of her coming of age and growing up and learning to be her own witch. But I also like how it can go from, like, okay, so I accidentally gave this kid my cat and he thinks it's a toy cat. I have to sneak in and get my cat back.
Yes.
But then, like, completely unrelated, I'm going to go spend time in the woods with this painter and just learn about life with this painter.
Those are great scenes. Yeah,
and they're just such good, like, they're not connected, but it's just like these little moments of life that come together in this one character.
Yeah.
No, I fucking love that movie.
I did too. No, I did too.
I forgot how much I liked it.
Yeah, I remember when I first. I didn't do this in the theater, but I remember when I first saw it. Like the ending, pretty much the go home sequence where it's like the blimp is out of control and her friend is stuck on it, and it's like everyone's trying to get. I was like a football game. That was a football game. I was like, really, like, you got that fucking kid, Kiki.
Come on, Kiki, you got this, girl.
Come on,
the game, Kiki.
And then she gets him. I was like, oh.
Which is a testament because she was gonna catch him.
I know. She's a titular character. She's gonna do a fine, but it's like, come on, like, that had me going.
No, yeah.
But when we went to that midnight show, that was a full house.
It was packed.
It was packed. There were people dressed as Kiki
cosplayers.
Yeah.
Just people wearing shirts.
Yeah.
And like because I've been there a couple times. Like I saw Scott Pilgrim there.
Yeah.
Not a packed house.
We saw 2001: Space Odyssey there.
Oh my gosh, was that this year?
Yeah, it was. That was 2017. Yeah.
No, surely not.
I'm pretty sure it was.
It was, because I remember before as we were walking in, you were talking to me about the bathtub scene Mary Elizabeth Winstead was in this season of Fargo.
Yeah.
It all comes together. That's how I remember things, based on how many Mary Elizabeth Winsteads are in the scene.
That's a good. That's
it's been working for me so far. I've forgotten a couple things, anniversaries, but
that's a good frame of reference.
Same.
Yes.
But no, Kiki's a fun movie. That might be. That's not my favorite Miyazaki film. I think my favorite Miyazaki is Princess Mononoke. Mm-hmm. But I think that's the top 3 for me. Kiki's
It's definitely my third.
Yeah.
Because then first would be Castle in the Sky. Then it would be Nausicaa.
Yeah.
Then it would be Kiki's.
Yeah. Then Spirited Away's up there too, and then
Spirited Away fourth probably.
Yeah. Okay. You kind of.
Yeah.
You can go around as much as you want, but yeah. Next one we have is the one that's really grown on me over the past few months. James Gray's The Lost City of Z.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So that basically starts.
I'm having fun doing this because I don't know what's on the cue card, and so I'm like. Lost City of Z, what was it?
Yeah. So that stars Charlie Hunnam, who plays Percy Howard.
In his one good movie of the year.
Yeah, because he also did King Arthur.
He did King Arthur.
And that, you want to talk about a bomb.
That was sad.
That was very sad.
That was a little sad.
It's like...
Because we all saw it coming.
No, that's the thing. We all saw it coming. It's like, I don't know why Hollywood hasn't gotten the hit. Like, no one wants to see a King Arthur movie.
Or a Robin Hood movie. Or a Tarzan movie. We don't want to see them.
No, we don't. Yeah, Tarzan bombed last year as well.
Yeah.
Robin didn't. I think the last one that really Scott did, 2010. That did not do good business. I don't think.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't think it did.
I don't know anyone.
And I think they're trying. I don't know if they're trying to do it. No, they wanted. I think they want to do another one. I don't know if it's still in play yet. But it's just like, guys, it's like no one's here for King Arthur. I'm sorry.
No one's here for King Arthur.
Right, and it's like I understand why Hollywood keeps wanting to do it because it's like no one owns the rights, so it's easy and free to do.
Easy, but that looked like a pretty pricey film.
Because that was Guy Ritchie. So so it's like it's gonna look like that, and it's like Jude Law has powers for some reason.
You know.
I was gonna say, what's the difference in this King Arthur versus the other King Arthur?
Really big elephants.
Oh, elephants! Good. That was what it was missing. That was what the story was missing. I'm so glad.
That's the one. That was the missing link.
Right.
We figured it out.
Right.
They really cracked the code on that one.
Exactly.
What they were missing for centuries and centuries of that story was elephants.
That was the one that the Clive Owen and Keira Knightley one didn't have. Elephants. Remember that movie?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that happened. No, but so Lost City of Z.
Yes.
Lost City of Z, like you said,
Based on a very good nonfiction book.
Yeah, so it stars Charlie Hunnam he plays an explorer. There's a city, maybe El Dorado, maybe another city of that kind of mythical nature in South America that he wants to go discover. So his wife, played by Sienna Miller, who wants to go with him, and it's like, well, you're a woman.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
What time? The 20s?
Yes.
Okay.
No, before World War One, because he goes World War One after. So it's like,
right.
yeah, so 1910s, yeah. So like 1900s, 1910s. So he recruits Robert Pattinson, some other people to go with him.
Great in this movie.
Robert Pattinson, he had a good year. So Robert Pattinson, he goes with him, and it's like it encompasses the explorer's entire life.
Yeah.
Goes to World War One, has kids, played by Tom Holland, his older kid. It's all about basically, well, you know, what are your dreams, and like how dangerous it was to go in the jungle. Because James Gray, he did a lot of press for this movie. He did a lot of podcasts, interviews, and he's like, yeah, filming in the jungle is rough. Filming in the jungle is really much what you kind of saw in the movie. Yeah. And it's like, I love that movie.
It's a gorgeous movie.
Oh my god, yeah.
But also, like, it's hard filming in the jungle in 2016, but these were people going out and doing it 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And kept going back.
It kept going back. It was
insane.
It was always a thing where it's like, okay, now I'm back. How do I get the money to go back?
Yeah.
How do I get the funds to go back? Who's gonna let me go back? Who's gonna provide the funds to go back? And his son goes back with him too.
His wife was just like, I'm doing so much.
Yeah.
I'm doing all of this stuff. Your children have never seen you.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah.
Can I at least go with you? And he's just like, no.
Well,
you
can't. He's sympathetic about it, but yeah, he can't.
Well, and I think at one point he did seriously consider it.
Yeah.
But then he's just like, babe, you can't.
If we're talking about acting, we gotta talk about Sienna Miller, because she was amazing.
For what?
Because like she's, for some reason, she's kind of come back after her crazy model days and what have you. But it's like, for a while, she was kind of put in the thankless wife role. She did it in Foxcatcher. She did it in not American. Was it American Sniper? Yeah, I think it was American Sniper.
Seems right.
Yeah, it was a Foxcatcher, American Sniper, Live by Night. And then this, like, she was always kind of like either the wife or like the girl on the side. It was just like, hey, you can't do anything because it's a man's story, and it's like, she's in that. That's what she does in Lost City of Z, but she still has her own agency in this.
Well, because I think the point of her character, the point the film is trying to get across about her character is fuck what society thinks,
right?
And he has, and the main character has a similar mindset.
Yeah.
And I got the impression that the reason he didn't want her to go was because he knew, like, this is a very, very... I barely made it out alive.
Yes.
And I care about you too much to put your life in the same risk.
Yeah. And that's what I love about that her last scene.
Yeah.
Where she goes to the society that funded one of the expeditions, and she's he tells her, yeah, I think your husband and son are dead. Like, we just got this letter like months ago. We haven't heard anything back. No one's found them. We haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And she's like, no, I have hope. I have hope. And it's like the way she walks. James Gray does this thing where it's like, I kind of wrote about it on Facebook. Like, he does this thing where it's like, you're kind of watching a dream vaporize right in front of your eyes. And that's what happens. Where, like, she kind of walks down the hallway, and it's just almost like she's literally leaving. And it's like, that's it. And I love the last scene between Charlie Hunnam and Tom Holland when they're surrounded by, like, the natives. And it's like, it's pitch black. They're surrounded by fire. They're surrounded by a circle of them holding fire pitches. And they kind of look at each other and like, I love you, Dad. I love you, son. It's like they kind of resign their fate. Yeah. They kind of accepted it. And it's like, we don't see anything. We kind of just
see them getting carried away.
Yeah, we see them getting carried away. And it's like the way that's filmed is like almost like transcending something else. It's almost like you're seeing like another plane of existence for these characters, and I love the way he films it. It's like again, it feels like a dream that you're watching.
A little bit, yeah.
And he did the same thing in this. He did the same thing in The Immigrant, his last movie, American Tulliard, and it's just like you're just kind of seeing something like almost you're not used to seeing in this world, and I love that. It's like that ending has stuck to me so much, and the movie in general it's stuck to me so much because like again, like Charlie Hunnam, Robert Pattinson, Tom Holland, he's in a little bit, but he's good in it too.
Yeah, he's
like
very good.
Everyone like the movie just works on so many different levels.
It does, and it's an epic.
It is
in the literal sense, where it's just like there's so much packed in.
Again, this movie takes a detour to World War I.
Yeah, that's a detour.
Yeah,
that's like we have to pause our story really quick. I got to dip into World War I.
Like World War I happened, we got to do that real quick. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, no, and I just I liked watching all the characters age. I like watching Robert Pattinson going, like at the near the end going, dude, come on. I'm not going back.
I can't do this anymore.
That's outrageous.
Yeah.
You are going to die.
Yes.
And then, the whole thing was great.
Yeah.
Fairly accurate.
Yeah.
So
yeah, again, beautiful film. I think the cinematographer is Darius Kanjani, who did a couple of Fincher films. He's done a couple of films across the board. You know, he's one of the best. Like, that was a good looking film. Mm-hmm. Just great across the board. So the next one we have is your favorite film of 2017. Came out 2016 at the Toronto Film Festival, but it got...
Toronto Film Festival. It's not even an American film festival, Toby.
When you put it like that, that is true.
When I put it like that, I sound like a terrible person.
It is Colossal.
Colossal.
With Anne Hathaway. Do you want to take it
And Jason Sudeikis.
Jason Sudeikis.
And...
not Jackie Earle Haley. Oh, no. He is in that movie.
Jackie Earle Haley's in that movie?
No.
No.
It's Tim Blake Nelson. Sorry.
Yes. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, he is not. I would have known this.
No, but do you want to take it from here? It's an incredible movie. It is one of those movies. Like, anytime I tell someone about it, and then I tell them how it turns in a different direction,
what it is,
they're like, "Whoa, I was not expecting that."
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Now I'm in an interesting predicament because Aubree hasn't seen it. Is it okay if I...
That is perfectly fine.
Okay.
That is perfectly fine.
I was just getting permission.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
You're good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So...
That would be I would really put a hitch in this podcast.
Steve's favorite film of the year. He's super excited to talk about it. Aubrey's like, I haven't seen it. You guys can go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, like, basically.
We are shutting off the podcast.
No.
Like, I'll skip that. You guys have to skip that.
You've talked about it so much on Tumblr, I think I already know. But
okay, fine. I have talked about it a lot on Tumblr. No, because, like, you walk in and the premise is ridiculous.
Very much so.
Which is Anne Hathaway when she's intoxicated and when she enters a sandbox in a playground in, like, this certain parameters, she takes complete control of this giant kaiju monster attacking Seoul, South Korea.
Yes.
And the trailers lead you to believe that hilarity ensues.
Yeah. Which it does.
Hilarity does ensue for a while.
Yes.
And then it takes a staggeringly dark turn.
Very much so.
And it's just... Anne Hathaway's great in it, first of all.
Yeah, I think this is the first... Not first. This was her, like, big performance since, what, Les Mis? Like...
I think.
Because for a while, she was just kind of like, okay, and she won her Oscar, and then she kind of just disappeared for a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
she did, she did Les Mis and Dark Knight Rises in the same year. But, like, that was just kind of it, and then she didn't really do much. And then this happens.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, shit, yeah, you kind of forgot she was that good.
Yeah, she's just... And like, this is a role that, on a surface level, you feel like you could have given to any other actress.
Right.
But she delivers so much, like, little things to it.
Yeah.
I keep thinking about the scene where Jason Sudeikis is stomping in front of her, and she's got this horrified, like, silent scream on her face.
Yeah.
And that is a scene that could have been hilarious.
Yeah.
But is played with such, like, if anything, there's, like, a twinge of dark humor to it, but it's mostly just, like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
The way the turn that the movie makes, and I think that's why, like, I know a lot of people who went to go see it who are big, like, Godzilla fans, and they're like, oh, I'm so excited to see a deconstruction of this genre. The monster has so little really to do with, like, the monster itself and the chaos it causes. Has so little to do with what the plot is, which is a very character-driven, intimate study.
It's very introspective.
Yeah. So what starts off as, like, oh, Anne Hathaway can control a monster, turns into, like, a cautionary tale about substance abuse and addiction and abusive relationships and controlling partners.
Yeah.
All these things, and it
really gets deep into issues that you aren't really expecting.
At all.
And not only that, but the way it dives deep into those. Mm-hmm. Because you want to talk about dark. Jason Sudeikis goes dark.
And there's that one scene where there's a friend of his who's trying to yell at him and trying to get a word in edgewise.
Yeah.
And he's just saying, get the fuck out of my bar.
Yeah.
And it's just like he never lets him talk, and it's just... It kind of... It doesn't come out of nowhere because you see his toxicity building slowly. You know, he's kind of one of those nice guys.
Yes, quote unquote.
But then you get to that scene, and then there's that scene where he's like, I'm gonna light this firecracker off in my bar, and she's still not gonna leave, and it's because she knows she can't.
Yeah.
Because if she does, his robot is going to destroy Soul.
Yeah, we should also remember...
Jason Sudeikis, when he enters the playground, turns into a giant robot, you see. Now, Toby, halfway, like around the part where we first discover that Anne Hathaway turns into a giant monster, I lean over to you, and completely as a joke, I say, wouldn't it be hilarious? Like, all this movie is missing is a giant mech robot.
Yes.
And then Jason Sudeikis is a giant mech robot.
We should also mention
fantastic.
we were the only two people in the theater watching this.
It was great.
It was great. And we saw this before your birthday. So
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
Good times. But then, okay, so the whole movie, like, especially starting at, middle of the second act,
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway is, like, feeling kind of hopeless. And at the time, it's like, what can she do? She's kind of stuck.
Right.
The climax of this movie, we've seen a lot of crowd pleasers. And
Yeah.
we've seen a lot of movies that have, like, really well-deserved and well-earned endings that are very triumphant and very, very rewarding.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of them, to me, matched up to the, like, fist in the air, like, fuck yes of Colossal. It was so... It toyed with its own rules, and it made you
toyed with its rules enough where it didn't break them.
Where it didn't break them.
Yeah.
And then, like, the second you're, like... she gets on the plane, and you're like, okay, she's going back to New York, and she's running away from her problems, and she's kind of... She's hasn't really fixed anything, she's gonna let all these people die. And then you see that she lands in Seoul, and it's like, oh, fuck, yes! And then the monster appears in the neighborhood and picks up Jason Sudeikis and just throws him into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, and Toby?
The last shot of her in Seoul, she just goes into the bar.
And then the bartender's like, she's like, man, I've got a crazy story for you. Do you want to hear it? She's like, sure, do you want a drink? And Hathaway just goes,
and that's it. Movie ends. And it's like, that's you want to talk about a good last shot. That's a good last shot.
Perfect.
The last thing I want to talk about this movie is Anne Hathaway's hair looks great in it. She's really working the bangs.
She is.
Really working the bangs in this movie.
I miss Anne Hathaway with bangs.
Yeah.
That's very Devil Wears Prada.
Very much so.
I was gonna say,
but it's like it's more full. It's not as 2000s.
Right.
As that
Yeah.
was.
It's more stylized.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Because I was there for Devil Wears Prada, bangs, Anne Hathaway. I wanted to wear every single. I wore blazers that looked like the prep school blazer to my high school every day while everyone else was wearing like Aeropostale polos. I had like a blazer on and my like red wedge heels, like trying to impersonate Anne Hathaway any possible way I could.
You were going to work for Meryl Streep, damn it.
Exactly.
And I was going to do a better job than she was, probably.
Exactly.
You probably could have balanced your relationship at work.
I wouldn't have stayed in my relationship with, was it Adrian Brody?
Adrian
fuck
Grenier.
that guy.
Adrian Grenier.
No, fuck that guy. Oh, you've changed. Now you like shoes.
No, to be fair.
Oh, no. Now I like shoes. I've lost all personality because I've sold my soul for Gucci. I have a lot of feelings about The Devil Wears Prada that came out 10, 15 years ago.
It was on TV a couple days ago.
It's always on TV.
It's always on TV.
I always try to catch it.
Yeah. It was on the E channel.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that does sound about right.
So
between Sex and the City reruns and...
Yep, between Sex and the City reruns and Keeping Up with the Kardashians and Total Divas. Welcome to the E! Network podcast, everybody.
Yes. We hope Anne Hathaway...
And I have some thoughts about Kat Sadler's salary. That probably doesn't.
The next movie we saw after Colossal was another film. Strangely enough, there were three other people in the theater when we watched this one. This is Raw.
Oh, yes. Now, do you remember the one girl who had her hood up and walked up and sat in the very last row in the back corner?
Yeah.
And as the movie progresses, I was getting more and more nervous. Because I'm like, is this a documentary based on that woman's life?
So this is
Raw.
This is written.
How do you start talking about Raw?
I love talking about Raw.
I love it too, but where do you even begin?
This is written and directed by Julia Ducournau. She's a French filmmaker, 31 years old, I think. This is her first movie. And
her first movie?
First movie.
Jeez.
First feature-length movie, I should say. I don't know. I think she maybe done some shorts, but this is her first feature-length movie. I know for me the story was, I think you're already there, so I was running late, as one of us usually does.
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah, it's like either I'm in the theater waiting for you, or you're in the theater waiting for me, and it's just like we just meet up there.
Yeah, and we missed like the opening credits.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, but whatever. But yeah, what happened was I'm walking in, and there were two there were two ladies who were looking at a sheet of paper trying to figure out what to watch, and I go right up and I'm like, "One ticket for Raw, please." And they heard me, and they're kind of talking about like, "Hey, what's Raw?" It's like, and I was like, It's like, "Sir, what's Raw about?" Ho, okay. And I was like, I'm going to say this out loud. Raw is about a young French girl who goes to veterinary school and figures out that she is a cannibal. And they kind of looked at me and they're like, really going for that one, huh? Yes, I am. I'll see you later.
And the thing is, you were buying just one ticket. So to them, you were the madman who's like, I live for these veterinary cannibal movies.
Exactly. So Raw is about a young veterinary girl who goes to veterinary school.
Like the most brutal veterinary school.
Yeah.
Of all time.
Yeah, like her older sister goes there, and her mom and dad met there, and she's a vegetarian, like really strict vegetarian. But she goes to the first day. She gets waken up, pulled. All the freshmen are pulled out of their dorms,
dragged out like SWAT teams.
Yeah, basically, and brutal hazing rituals. Just
really,
brutal. Yeah,
like. Strangely, like, twistedly creative.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be, like, a sadistic person to think of some of these.
I mean, they're in France.
I rest my case.
So there's that. So the kids are doused with blood, like
with animal
blood, and they can't change. So they pretty much wear that all throughout the first days of classes. And they also have to eat
it was like a raw chicken liver?
Yes, that was it. Thank you. Yeah. So they have to eat that, and Julie, the main girl, is like, I'm a veterinarian, I can't do this. Her older sister's like, just eat it real quick, it doesn't matter, what the fuck, just eat it. So she eats it, and then that kind of kicks off like, oh, I like meat. And not only that, oh, I like all kinds of meat.
All kinds of meat. And it can be raw meat.
It can be raw meat, it can be cooked meat. It can be animal meat, it can be human meat.
No, because the scene that sticks out to me in Raw, there's a couple, because whoo.
Oh yeah.
But the first one that really stuck out to me was when her sister was trying to give her like a Brazilian wax.
Yes.
And it wasn't coming off, and it looked fucking painful.
Oh yeah.
And
I have questions.
Oh, I bet. Oh, you will have more. So, no. What's your question?
Why was her sister doing it?
It's France. I don't know.
I like that. That could be her answer. That could be her answer.
It honestly could for this whole movie.
What happened was, I think they were just talking about.
I think they were talking about sex.
They were talking about sex. They were also talking about like the older sister was showing her how she can pee standing up.
Oh yes, she was. That was on the roof, right?
It was on the roof. And
see, I remember this movie. I remember movies that we saw this year.
and then Julia was trying to do the same thing, but she just peed all over herself. And then like she looked at her.
Yes.
Thing, and it's like, you're really kind of. I was giving myself bikini waxes by the time I was your age. Let me give you one.
Wait, the French girl said that?
Yes.
do you have more questions, Aubree?
No. Continue.
So she
literally sipping my tea over here.
So the older sister was trying to give her a bikini wax, but like you said, like the what's the word we're looking for? The wax. Sorry.
The wax, yeah.
The wax got stuck.
As it can. Never mind.
No.
Do we want to turn this into a different type of podcast?
Yeah, I was going to say, I have a lot of other skills that aren't being utilized, but no.
No, but it got stuck, and the way the camera kind of fixated on it, it's just like...
and she was yanking on it.
She was yanking it, and it was kind of pulling on her skin. And I remember I looked at you, I was like, oh, no, oh.
I want to say that was the most disturbing part of this movie, which is saying a lot.
A lot, yeah. So
she goes. So that was like the one waxing scene that we have seen since the 40-year-old virgin. I think that was the last.
I think this one was a little less successful than the 40-year-old virgin because she goes to get a pair of scissors.
Yes.
She's like, "Well, this isn't ripping off, so I'm gonna have to cut the wax off of your pubes." Goes to get scissors, comes back, something trips.
No. The older sister's trying to cut it off, but then Julie gets scared, kicks her away, and then she puts her hand up, and she's missing a finger.
The scissors accidentally sliced the finger off.
Yeah.
Now, Aubree, you're cringing. I'm sure you thought that something bad was going to happen to the vagina. So did I. It was just a finger. Don't worry.
I thought it was going to go in the eye. Yeah.
Oh, or that. No, just a finger.
I have a thing about eyes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we will not talk about eyes anymore.
I don't think we will.
You're going to have to go through your list.
Yeah, I don't think we will.
I don't think we will.
No, but it wasn't that.
I thought it was like holding scissors straight up.
And it wasn't just that. Wasn't for the finger. So the sister passes out from seeing all the blood.
And
then Julie calls 911 and is trying to find
my favorite scene in the movie.
She's calling 911. Is freaking out. Doesn't know what to do.
She gets ice and puts the finger in ice.
Yeah.
And then she's just sitting up against the fridge with this finger and ice next to her. And you just see her slowly just reach down, look at it, and then just take a little nibble. And then she goes to town on her sister's finger.
Like a chicken wing.
But the best part of the scene is as she's devouring this finger, you see in the background her sister sit up, look over, and go...
Yeah.
And that is scratching the surface of this movie, Toby.
It literally is. Like the next big scene after that is like once that happened, she gets out of the hospital.
This whole movie is coming back to me.
Yeah,
this movie was fucking bonkers.
Yes, it was. In such a good way.
Such a good way.
I forgot another movie on here too. There's 3 movies I forgot on here. Okay.
That we saw?
Yeah.
Jeez, Toby.
I didn't write it down. I didn't write down my diary. So after they get out of the hospital, the older sister goes to an empty side of the road, takes the younger sister with her, and she's like, "What are we doing here? What do you do? Like, you have to go back to the hospital. We got to talk. I ate your finger.
We should probably discuss this.
You taste like curry." She says that at one point, and it's like the older sister all of a sudden jumps in the middle of the road when a car comes down, and the car swerves out of the way, crashes to a tree, and both people are dead. And it's like the older sister goes and starts eating them, and
her sister's watching on like, what the fuck?
Right, and the older sister's like, I did this for you.
Come on, help yourself so you can stop eating my fingers.
Yeah, so it eventually comes around that.
Oh, I'm just watching Aubree's facial expressions. I am so excited to see how.
So. It slowly comes to the fact that the young girl comes from a family of cannibals.
Yes.
Where the female has to find a male that will pretty much be their chewing toy.
Basically.
Yeah. Because the last shot is a banger. The last shot is crazy.
We're going to get to the last shot. Yeah. So, but not only that, but you've got, like, if they don't have enough raw meat, if they don't eat enough, they go into a crazed, almost like primal trance-like state of like animalistic need, because then we get that shot of the
party,
the phone footage of they've got raw meat on a fish line. And she's on the ground, and her eyes are glazed over, and her pupils are dilated, and she's reaching for like a zombie, basically.
Yeah.
And everyone's laughing, and and her sister's like, "Well, this isn't funny. Our secret's out, and whatever."
Yeah.
All the while, she's got this fun little boy toy, who's kind of like on again, off again boyfriend sort of thing.
Yeah, who's gay as well.
Who's gay? Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
That was a weird thing. I left with so many questions, Toby.
No, we spent we usually talk about after the movies that we watch, but we spent like 45 minutes afterwards just talking about
in the theater, just trying to digest what.
Digest.
Ha! She's getting that.
She knows how this works.
So yeah.
So the last shot is basically so the boy toy is killed.
The boy toy is killed in the middle of the night. In her sleep, she just eats half of his body.
Yeah.
And she wakes up. They just, I think, had sex. Again, he's gay, but maybe not.
They did have sex in the movie.
They did have. Yes, they did.
Beforehand though.
Yes.
Before that, but she wakes up at one point. Like his leg is pretty much gone. He's dead.
Yeah. And she's like, her face is covered in blood.
And the sister is just like in a trance in the corner of the room. But the sister goes to jail for some reason. I guess she took responsibility for it.
She took responsibility for the murder, yeah.
She goes to jail, and when they bring the younger sister back home, and the mom's she's beside herself. She's not even talking to her as well. And the dad's like, she'll be okay. And it's like, I know, it's not your fault. I know, Dad. And it's like, and then he kind of goes into the history of how he and his wife met. And the mom met, and he's talking about like, yeah, first I didn't understand what she was like. She was really popular, didn't have a lot of friends, and it was weird at first, but I figured out why. And it's just like, what are you talking about? And all he says is like, one day you'll find someone who can take it for you.
Who can take it for you?
And then he starts unbuttoning his shirt, opens it up, and his chest is like
just gnawed.
Scratched up, clawed, gnawed.
There's
on,
like
raw.
sections missing.
It's just and I remember I was like, oh shit. And
yeah.
It's like, oh,
she comes to him every once in a while and just takes a slice.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the movie.
That's the end of
the movie. Now, we did a little Spark Notes version.
Yes, we did.
But like at the end of the day, that's the gist of the movie.
Yeah.
Questions from the audience.
No.
All right. Moving on from Raw.
I don't want to.
You don't want to open that can of worms.
I loved Raw. Raw is one of my favorite films.
It was insane, and it was a lot of fun and very strange.
Yeah.
Like, the most disturbing parts of it to me were the school hazings.
The school hazes. There was that one scene where we see that wide shot of the autopsy, where it's like they're working on dogs beforehand.
Oh yeah.
And there's that one scene for no fucking reason.
No reason.
There's a sheet on a dog that the girl worked on earlier in class.
Body.
Yeah. A dog corpse, and it's like for some reason the sheet's like kind of pulled off it by some invisible force.
Yeah, like it moves.
It moves, and it's like there's no explanation why.
Yeah, it's like, so is the dog coming back to life? Is there someone in there?
No, that's all we see.
It is never explained.
Never explained, never touched on. It's like this weird, just kind of big-lipped alligator moment where it's just like, why was that there? What happened?
I'm so glad you used a big-lipped alligator moment.
Oh, yes.
I appreciate you a lot.
TV tropes, man.
That's what it was.
There's that one scene in the beginning of the party where it ends up where she is filmed on camera being the dog, like... In the beginning, there's a guy licking a girl's eyeball.
Oh, right. Oh, we said we would not mention eyes again. But there is a scene, and you can tell, like, because she's sitting in the corner, like, strung out on withdrawal from meat.
Yeah.
But then you've got all these people doing a cornucopia of drugs.
Yes.
And in one instance, these two people dancing, the guy, like... sensually licks the woman's eyeball.
Yeah. Like, not even, like, the actual eyeball.
And, like, the weird thing is, I don't know if we can chalk that one up to just being France.
No, we can't. I don't know if we can.
Surely, right?
Right, no. We can't talk about to being college students. We can't talk about
being veterinarians.
Again, I watched it again recently. That movie takes chances, and I love it. And it's like, this is one of those things where it's like, it's just in the movie for who knows why.
It's just in the movie.
For flavor.
Just to make it more disturbing?
To make it more disturbing. No, but it's a great film. And I think in recent... Again, I talk about recent years as far as horror films go. Especially directed or made, created, produced, written by women. I think that's up there. I think Raw's up there.
Oh, definitely.
As far as like some of the stuff that we got from horror films lately.
And I like how many... It didn't reach, like, mainstream status, but enough that, like, people...
are aware of it.
People are aware of it.
Yeah, not just like someone like me or us in general. Where it's like, I know other people who are like, oh, I saw this on Netflix. Hey, Toby, is Raw good? Like, yeah, watch Raw.
Watch Raw.
Yeah, so it's like...
on an empty stomach.
On an empty stomach, if you could.
I went to look it up, and I want you all to know that the first thing that came up was Raw.
Wrestling.
By Eddie Murphy's stand-up special.
Eddie Murphy's Raw?
Yeah. And I was like, I'd much rather...
Your phone knows you.
My phone does know me better.
Which is one of the best stand-up specials of all time.
Yeah.
Next on the list is Wonder Woman.
I really enjoyed Wonder Woman.
Which we talked about a lot.
Did we have a podcast for Wonder Woman?
We did have a podcast on Wonder Woman.
Okay.
You did. I listened to it.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
I don't know if you liked it, but thanks for listening.
I was going to say, because today I was talking about, like, well, you know, Toby and I are going to be doing this podcast. I don't know if you're cool with, you know, just sitting and listening. And she's like, oh, no, I love your podcast. I'm like, you listen to our podcast? Why?
Why?
She's such a supportive person.
That's awesome.
Was it that one, or was it the other one where you guys started off just singing the Jetsons and talking about how Kanye was... That was Spider-Man Homecoming.
That was Spider-Man Homecoming.
Which was probably my favorite introduction to any of our podcasts.
Yes, it was. No, Wonder Woman was great.
I enjoyed Wonder Woman a lot.
And this is something I talked about before with you on the podcast and just everyone in general. You have to talk about Wonder Woman in two ways.
Yeah.
You have to talk about it as a movie, especially within the context of whatever the hell DC's doing with their movies, which no one knows. They don't know.
They do not know.
Ben Affleck doesn't know.
Ben Affleck doesn't want to know.
Ben Affleck doesn't care.
I don't think he can. Who knows? There's overarching what the movie, the Wonder Woman is a movie, and then what Wonder Woman is as a cultural event.
Yes.
Because this is something where this is the first superhero movie that's directed by a woman. And starring a female character, because we've had Lexi Alexander. She did Punisher Warzone. I think in 2009 or 10. So there is that, but this is the first one that's directed by a woman and starring a woman.
With the biggest production cost.
Biggest production cost. And even though it is written, unfortunately, by Zack Snyder and many other writers, it still kind of feels like a man's movie to various degrees.
To various degrees.
But the way it's directed, the way it moves, the way it kind of emotes and feels, it's very much not only a Patty Jenkins movie, but it feels very much like, okay, there's a woman behind here, and she's going to really kind of take care of the intricate details of what you're going to watch from this movie, which is really much appreciated.
Well, especially like because I just watched it again a couple days ago. What I really like about it is the fact that everyone is talking about the No Man's Land scene.
Yes, as they should,
rightfully so.
Yeah.
But what makes that feel so good and so rewarding, as opposed to all these other big, supposedly important action sequences in superhero movies, is that for up until that point, Diana has been told, no, you can't do this. You're not allowed to do this. You can't go here. Oh, you can't possibly do that. We can't save everybody. You can't do this. You can't do this.
Yeah.
And throughout the movie, Patty Jenkins shoots her face and the varying degrees of frustration that's building up, being told, and the scene leading up to the trenches, where it's like, there's people struggling in mud and they can't get out. There's a lost child. There's a mom who lost her village. Steve Trevor's just like, we can't stop. You can't save everyone. Yeah. And she's like, fuck you. Why not? I'm going to give it a shot. So seeing her take off the cloak, put the tiara on, and have the shield, and finally step up and being like, I'm not going to be told no anymore. Yeah. I'm going to do this thing. It felt so earned. Yeah. And so well deserved. And I think that's why, and on top of that, the actual choreography of the action is well done.
Oh, yeah.
But, just that scene of her climbing up the ladder and then finally, in full Wonder Woman attire, not the faded, muted Batman v Superman shit, but, red, gold, and blue, unapologetically Wonder Woman walking through, reflecting bullets. It felt so triumphant in a way that I feel a lot of superhero movies, Marvel, DC, etc., haven't felt. Yeah. It felt so... Patty Jenkins shot that with such heart.
There's a lot of care.
There's a lot of care.
A lot of care throughout the entire movie, even up to that point. And this is something we talked about before. You just mentioned as well. I loved what Patty Jenkins does with Gal Gadot's face. It's such a layered performance, especially for stuff in a movie like this, where you don't really get that much acting, because why would you, for the most part?
But there's so much subtle, nuanced reacting in her facial expressions that Patty Jenkins is like, this is the point of the movie, right? And everything else kind of blends into the background. But Gal Gadot and Wonder Woman and Diana's reactions,
there's some references to Richard Donner's Superman. And her performance kind of reminds me of Christopher Reeve's performance as Clark Kent Superman, where it's just there's a lot of care taken into okay, here's Clark Kent and here's Superman. Yeah. And it's just little things are going to differentiate between the two, but you're going to get two different performances because that's who Superman is. Yeah. And that's kind of the same thing that we get from Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, as Diana, where it's just you kind of see a lot of her face and what she's doing, and just kind of being in this world, but kind of rolling with it at the same time. But it's I am Wonder Woman. I am the Princess Themyscira. I'm here to defeat war, and it's you kind of just see how beautiful she is, but how determined she is at the same time, but how innocent she is, and how that innocence is kind of taken away, but she's still going to do the right thing because that's what she wants to do. There's a lot going on with the performance emotionally, where it's you don't really see that much in these movies anymore, and it's really impressive that we see that.
On top of all of that, you've got the scene where they're dancing in the snow in the village that you just saved, and instead of being I'm going to fall in love with you, I'm swooning, it's so what are you going to do after the war? And it's this heartfelt, emotional, intimate conversation between these two characters.
Yeah.
That doesn't end in a kiss. It doesn't end all sappy. It ends with them basically saying, like, Steve Trevor being like, I don't know what's going to happen after this. And Wonder Woman going, I have to stop war. I don't know what's going to happen after this either.
You and I talked about this after we watched it, and I kind of, not changed my mind, but I kind of came around to it, but it's because, like, that scene does end with them going to bed together.
That's true.
And I remember we talked at the time, I don't remember what you said, but I remember feeling like, it's like, I kind of don't like how that ended, because it's like, why did they have to sleep together? Mm-hmm. It's like, why couldn't it just be, friends, or did they have to sleep together? But kind of think about it now, I love their chemistry so much, it feels earned. It feels earned in a way where it's like, these people are attracted to each other.
Yeah.
In a way where it's not like this kind of glib thing with Marvel, or just kind of like, they kind of have to be like DC. It's like all the DC movies. Like, no, their chemistry kind of pulls them together. Mm-hmm. They just went through this entire experience through No Man's Land, the village, the trenches, or what have you. It felt very much like, I can kind of see them, after all that, they would want to...
consummating their relationship. I think what makes that work and what makes it feel more earned is the scene in the boat where she's blatantly saying, like, I know what sex is.
Yeah.
Men are needed for reproduction, but not for pleasure.
Right.
And that was a moment in the theater that was unlike anything I've ever... Now, I don't go to movies very often, but, like, my girlfriend and I who went to see it, we went, oh! Like it was fucking the Def Comedy Jam. Like, we were like, oh, shit!
But, I think that's what makes it work, is because she doesn't... Because, so many times in these types of movies, it would have been very easy to make Wonder Woman born sexy yesterday.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, I'm so naive. What's kissing? What's sex? And then let me show you. But with this, it felt like this was her conscious choice of like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
I don't need you.
Yeah.
For this,
but I want
this.
Yeah, and it felt very adult. Again, it was something.
An adult feeling.
Yeah, because one of the worst things about superhero movies, there's a lot of them, but it's like
quite a bit.
So many of them are completely void of sex, like to any degree. Like not even like the most that Marvel has kind of gone with is funny in two ways. The most Marvel has gone with the movies is three things is Star-Lord and Gamora. Mm-hmm. Black Widow and Hulk. Mm-hmm. And then I'm sure you guys mentioned this before. Tumblr will make the case. Cap and Bucky.
Yes. Tumblr will make that case.
Yes. So it's like that's kind of
Tony and Pepper.
Tony and Pepper too. Yeah. I mean that's kind of more text and subtext at this point.
Tony and Steve.
That's honestly Civil War. That's another one too.
Tony and
but it's
Steve.
like that's all just at best that's all subtext.
Yeah.
Like at best it's like that's all kind of like not even read between the lines, but it's like if there are lines here, read between them.
Yeah.
Like, Wonder Woman is very much like, hey, these are adults.
Yeah.
They like each other, they're attracted to each other. Why wouldn't they be together? Mm. And it's a very adult thing. And it's like even all we see is like just the door closing, and we get the implication because again, cinema. That's all we need. Even that's enough. Where it's like, oh, these are actual adults that actually have feelings for each other.
Well, I appreciate because the second I saw the door close, I'm like, I was really worried about the scene, like the morning after scene.
Yeah.
Oh man, her hair is going to be on myself. Oh, maybe men are needed for pleasure. But no, it was just, okay, we're moving on now.
Yeah, we're moving on. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, good.
Yeah.
We don't need that.
No,
it wasn't needed, and it made the scene feel more mature.
Yeah.
In the literal sense of the word.
Yes.
The ending for me was surprising. As someone who watches a lot of superhero movies, I wasn't expecting moral questions to come up because they don't usually.
I was going to say, I want to get to the ending in a little bit, yeah.
Okay, never mind.
No. And it's like, I want to go to the beginning. Like, I love the stuff on Themyscira.
Oh, we needed
amazing.
I think we needed a lot more of it.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think they understood that because they brought back, oh my god,
Hippolyta.
Yeah, they brought back Robin Wright to play the Ant in Justice League. Like she has a cameo in that, in the flashback, and it's like they know how good Wonder Woman is. They gotta spread out to other things. But
she's going like. First of all, they got to scrap everything else and make it like Wonder Woman needs to be the Iron Man.
It needs to be the centerpiece.
If they insist on making a universe, if they are gonna go do well on that threat, you have to center it around this.
No, but the stuff in Themyscira was amazing. Just beautifully filmed. Like just
the imagery of it all.
The imagery, the context of it.
We were watching it, and there's. Like, you and I were just, like, slapping each other. Like, did you fucking see that?
Yeah.
Like, the girl who leaned off the horse with the bow. And I'm just like, because we've seen behind the scenes, these are stunt women and like Olympians doing this.
Yeah.
Like real, and like, yeah, there's maybe some wire work, but it's real people doing this on an island in like Amazonian armor. It's unlike anything I've
seen. It's a visual feast.
Yeah,
in almost every sense of the word. And even when the men fade, even how that's done, where it's like you kind of just see like this ripple in the sky, then the plane comes in. It's like oh shit. Yeah. Like it had such a kind of monumentous feeling and like, that kind of just changes everything for Diana and everything else. But it's like here's this monumentous feeling that happened where it's like oh this is that felt important. It looked important. Mm-hmm. I know we mentioned this before, but it's like I could have watched the whole movie with Chris Pine and Gal Gadot just walking around London.
Yeah,
like they had great chemistry. They had like a great classic
secretary.
Yeah, and the secretary Etta Candy. Yeah, like she was able to hold the sword, which is great.
The sword and shield in her big old dress and hat.
And it was like they had great classic screwball comedy like chemistry, and that, like I can't think of anyone else who could do that this day and age.
Yeah,
it's like again, this like
that's something DC has been missing too.
What? Just comedy?
Comedy!
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Not taking themselves too seriously.
Oh, absolutely.
That was what the DC cinematic, like, because, like, anyone who's a fan of DC knows that it's corny.
Very much so.
It's very campy, corny, and so I always felt like recently they've taken themselves a little too seriously, so to have those moments of, like, comedy was like, oh, thank God, you're making a weird...
Right.
Like,
but even the comedy, though, because I had to sit through Suicide Squad.
I had to. Someone put a gun to my head.
I was forced to endure Suicide Squad upside down while hanging above a vat of acid, and I would have taken the acid. But the humor in there was so like someone who's never written a joke,
right?
or like
who like heard what comedy was
from their 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, this is comedy.
They've never quite heard a joke, but they've read a, like, dictionary description of what a joke is.
and then work from there.
Yeah, work from there.
And so the fact that this was, like...
Women like bad boys, they read. Like, like just trying to figure out how to write characterizations and romances.
Yeah.
But, so Wonder Woman's comedy and lightheartedness and optimism...
Yeah, that was something I really enjoyed, too, because what can happen, too, a lot of times when they try to make a female superhero is they try to make her masculine. They try to make her very much like, I'm one of the boys!
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so when I saw her get excited for babies...
A baby.
Yeah.
And, baby! Which she's never seen before in her life!
Right.
Like, she has... the instinct comes out, and then, like... The ice cream later on.
You should be very proud.
You should be very good. And she just eats it like,
yeah.
That was so...
It's amazing in those regards. And, yeah, again, it's just... And, again, like, I love that you said that, like, they don't try to make her masculine because that happened with this. That happened with Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. That happened with Tessa Thompson, Thor Ragnarok, which we'll get to later.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's just,
she was
like,
great.
Those are two performances where it's just, like, yeah, they will try to make them masculine. And, like, these are performances where it's just, like... No, they're the action heroes, but they're action heroines. They're female at the same time, which is really much appreciated for that.
And that makes you, like, view yourself in them more. Because I know as someone who watched a lot of superhero shows growing up, when there was a girl superhero on screen, sometimes she was very much like, I could hold my own, and that was the character. That was it. That was the only, like, and I was I can't picture myself as that person. Mm-hmm. But, like, I love ice cream and babies, too. Like, I can be Wonder Woman. It helped me imagine myself and her because she was a more rounded character. She had more development.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, representation matters.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. It does. Like, we've had this conversation before when talking about representation.
Yeah.
Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
And it goes down to, like, and I've heard a lot of women storytellers, comic book writers, film critics say the problem is that when it's a boys club and you have your one token girl, the girl has to represent everything about every girl in the audience ever.
Yeah, so if you represent everything, they represent nothing.
They represent nothing.
Yeah.
And so the girl, is that, oh man, I'm the rough and tumble, but I'm also like sweet and innocent on the inside, and I'm also this, and I'm also that. With Sailor Moon, it's like you can be, this cook who likes to fight, or you can be this crybaby who has a heart of gold, or you can be, this tech genius.
Yeah. You have the smorgasbord of different options you can pick from, which a lot of women didn't have usually.
That was that, and that's why I love that so much, Sailor Moon, and weirdly enough, Sex and the City falls into that same category.
Yeah,
Anytime when there's a lot of different people in a group, it's like, okay, now I can pick who I am in that group.
Yeah. Right.
Like, I'm clearly a Samantha. Like,
yeah. Let's talk about the ending Wonder Woman. I don't like it.
The
last like 20, 15 minutes, especially with the fight scenes, are just, I think are objectively bad. But I've always said to a lot of people, the movie's so good up to that point, the ending doesn't sink it. If the movie up to that point was weaker, I think it would have been a bad movie. Yeah. I love Wonder Woman as much as I do, even despite the ending not being as good as everything else. And this is what I talked about before. I think superhero movies just have an inherent vice, whereas it's just baked in their DNA. They will have bad endings. It's just as it is.
And I think the problem with the ending had more to do with the bad villain, in the sense that it was like Ares was this thing that was being built up. I need to go stop Ares. And when we finally got to him, I think what broke it for me...
He's still David Thewlis. It's like he's a great British actor, but it's like how
even in the flashback he had that bad mustache.
That's what I was gonna say. Like how much does the ending improve if we just get rid of the mustache?
Right. Or because I think that was a very distracting mustache.
It was.
Under the big old comic accurate helmet.
Right.
Was that mustache?
Yeah,
but
it's like, so you kept that mustache, but you took away Henry Cavill's mustache. Like, what's with the mustache, DC? What's the mustaches?
Didn't the Olympian gods know that you could CGI out a mustache?
Exactly.
Just cost $3 billion.
Exactly.
But I don't. I like what it meant for the character, and I liked how she acted in it.
I think thematically, the ending it works. It's fine.
Yeah.
The execution's not
there.
The
execution's bad.
Especially
it's green screen PS2 graphic.
Badly. Badly. Especially how visually great the whole movie is. The
whole movie looks gorgeous. They built London, a set for London.
Yeah.
They built that.
Yeah.
And then you get to this airplane hangar and it's like, all right, I understand that there's flames and I understand that she has to kind of explode with rage and start taking out all the Germans, and I understand that Ares has to be big. You couldn't have put a little more money into that, making it look decent.
Yeah. It looked rough. It looks really, really rough.
And it's disappointing because, like you said, the whole movie up to that point has a color palette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DC movies don't have color palettes.
They don't.
It was I saw greens. Vibrant greens. Right. It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then you get to this and it's just like, oh, you're just the ending to Batman v Superman. Oh, you're just the ending to Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
It's disappointing.
Yeah.
But it was disappointing because it was so good up until...
No, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And again, the themes still carry within it, especially when Steve Trevor gets killed and how anguished Diana is, and also learning the fact human beings are flawed, but I'm still gonna fight for them. Yeah, that's important,
which was great.
That was an interesting moral question. I did not think they were gonna get into.
I didn't either.
Because again, with superhero movies, it's usually black and white. This is bad guy. This is good guy. They fight.
Yeah,
and so that was
Marvel doesn't do that because all Marvel cares about is the quippy characters, and that's the characterization. That's it.
Yeah.
So this is kind of working on something should I love a human, but he's flawed. Should I care?
Yeah.
About fighting for human still? It's I should, because it's the right thing to do. It's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So it's good that she kind of came through that. On the other side of that, again, thematically, it works. It's just the execution. Yeah. The execution wasn't there. I love Chris Pine in this movie.
I'm so disappointed that we're not going to see more of their.
But I think it's a good thing.
It's a great thing
because we don't especially in superhero movies, we don't see permanent deaths.
That's very true.
So I think it's a good thing that he's dead and it resonates with her and it stays with her. Yeah. And it helps her kind of move on.
Yeah.
I think that's needed, but no, it is kind of a shame we're not going to see. I know a lot of people. I think we talked about this on our podcast when we saw it. I know a lot of people kind of complained. There's maybe too much of Steve Trevor in the movie, and maybe that's to help the guys kind of watch this movie because it's centered around a woman, and it's I do agree with that.
I agree,
but at the same time, I think he's so good in it. I think their chemistry's so good in it. I think I'm willing to let that go.
And I have to give kudos to Chris Pine because there were probably so many people who were like, I'm a star. I'm not gonna be a love interest to Wonder Woman, a sidekick in a superhero movie. I want to be the superhero. Right. And the fact that he's like, I'm gonna go into this. I know my role, and I'm the one who has to have the superhero teach me a lesson along the way. And damn good chemistry. It was good.
And I know we talked about this before, but it's I know so many actresses, so many women in general, were just kind of oh shit, is this how guys feel when they watch a superhero movie? Because they felt like
yes.
so.
Yes,
and you can talk about this.
Oh my! I was gonna say, I felt so much like I could be that like don't get me wrong, I've watched Marvel movies and came out like I'm gonna fucking kick some ass, like you just pumped up, but I've never felt like I could have done that. I've never imagined myself in that role. In fact, I was just watching the Avengers the other night, and I was watching Black Widow, and since I have seen Wonder Woman, good God, that performance is disappointing. Good God, there's not... And I know she's not the main character, so that's part of the reason they can't dive into blah, 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 blah. But that is exactly how I felt. Because, like, you talked about the mascara and how beautiful and how wonderful it was. It almost brought a tear to my eye to see that many amazing, strong women on screen. I have never in my life seen that. Felt like, oh, that is a place that I could, like, grow and be in. I've seen it in cartoons and comic books, but I've never seen it on the big screen. I've never seen... Someone pointed out on Tumblr that there's a point where Wonder Woman does the superhero jump, so to speak, and her thighs jiggle.
Yeah. So many women have mentioned that to me. And
that's such a small, weird, minute little detail that you think, like, wouldn't make that big in the scheme of things, but it does. And you were talking about the No Man's scene, and I gotta talk about the fact that it's no coincidence that it was a woman that finally was someone asking for help and solidarity. Like, that's so very much what, especially in that time period, you had to help each other out. You had no other option.
Right.
Like, that was, you had to look out for each other because, and that was the one who finally, that was the push she needed to, like, help someone out, was a woman who no one was listening to in No Man's Land.
Yes.
No one was paying attention to, and that's no coincidence in that storyline that that's what ended up bringing upon the No Man's Land stuff and all of that.
I bring that up because I remember I told you, it's like when we're sitting there watching the end credits and we see the big W on the screen, like Wonder Woman. That's when I was like, oh shit, is this what hope feels like?
Yeah. Because like I was even thinking,
it feels so elevating.
It does. She was what Superman was supposed to be. This beacon of hope.
Not just talk about it, but actually be it.
He didn't even talk about it. Other people talked about it. But have you been watching Bob Chipman's Really That Bad?
Yeah, I have.
I've never seen the movie. Have no plan to. His dissection is at least an hour longer than the movie.
Yeah.
Arguably more exciting and hilarious. And
that S stands for hope. Fuck you, man. Just fuck you. So no, Wonder Woman is, I think, one of, when you kind of look back at 2017, like Wonder Woman, maybe The Post as well. Get Out, like I think those are kind of going to be like, those are the movies of 2017
that define the year.
Yeah,
definitely.
That changed things.
Yeah.
And just like how excited I am for Get Out, the possibility of studios finally fucking taking notice and being like, maybe we can give these projects to people of color.
Right. And it's not a black film; it's just a film.
It's a film.
Yeah.
That can be same for audiences.
With, not Rough Night, Girls Trip. Same thing with Girls Trip.
Right.
It's not. Like, it's, here's a good black film. Like, no,
it's good
just...
it's good, for a black
film.
Movie, yeah. Or good for a chick flick.
Right.
That was the other problem,
It's like subtle things that maybe we didn't pick up on, but, women did.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a perspective that we don't have, and a voice that Hollywood hasn't really seen and experienced.
Right.
And so the fact that it was such... Because I remember the night before, I had, like, butterflies in my stomach, because I'm like... All it needs to be is good. Yeah. It just needs to be good.
Yeah.
And it just needs to make money.
Yeah. And it exceeded expectations wildly.
It was one of the highest grossing, I think Thor Ragnarok at the last second beat it as the top grossing.
Yeah.
But still, Wonder Woman was up there. So as far as
and the merchandising delivered
amazing.
Yeah,
and the fact that everyone who saw it is like, just like Jordan Peele, like Get Out is Jordan Peele's movie.
Yeah.
You can't do a sequel to Wonder Woman without Patty Jenkins.
Well, they already signed her, so that's good.
But, like, the fact that...
It took them a while for some reason.
Because I remember you were talking about, like, a woman directed the first Twilight.
Yeah.
And then a man took over because it was successful.
Yes.
And you were worried, like...
Yes, I was.
It could happen again.
Did a woman? I didn't know that.
It couldn't have happened without Patty Jenkins.
No.
And because her name is all over the place, it's like, studios are like, well, we got to give it to her. And hopefully something will trickle down into their brains to go, we should give more people, like more women, this chance.
Yes.
More people with this voice.
Yeah, on this big of a canvas, on this
Just
big of a
because,
scale, on this big of money.
I didn't notice her thigh jiggle. Why would I notice? But someone else did, and it was really important. But that's not something that a male director would have been like, actually, her thigh jiggled, and that's not sexy.
Right.
And again, what you were talking about the motions on her face, and I don't know if a male director would have done that as much.
Wouldn't.
It was a very emotional film
compared
to other superhero movies, and that again made it feel very feminine.
Yeah.
You know, like there was.
I remember I raved about that when we did a podcast right after. I was like, the camera focused on her face.
Yeah.
Like.
Because
instead of her ass as she's kicking a bad guy, and it's like, what? That was the other thing I noticed in the Avengers when I rewatched it. I was like, stop that!
Yeah.
That's
Take
Joss
that
Whedon.
off of her.
Yeah.
That's Joss Whedon. Because all of the reshoots, apparently, for Justice League that he did, people, like, even, like, the most misogynistic of film critics were like, there's, like, 7 blatant ass shots. Joss Whedon, you gotta stop. And we want to give this man Batgirl?
Didn't he write a screenplay for Wonder Woman?
Yes, he did.
Back in the
and
day?
it's atrocious.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, it's wildly like misogynistic, like just across the board. Well, it's one of those ones where it's like you don't think it's real.
Like it's like a 14-year-old in his basement writing it, not like.
I mean, from what we learned about Joss Whedon this year, he basically is a 14-year-old in his basement writing.
That is true.
Yeah.